Taking the track first for our first bout this evening, it's your defending champion from 2019, the Runaway Brides. Skating tonight for the Runaway Brides in their premier bout, number 420, Astro Thought. Number 669, Nikki Badass. Number 00, Novocaine. Number 11, Slaughtermelon. Number 131 in her premier adult bout, Muerta. Number 151, Ash Smash'em. Number 3, Rickety Bones. Number 44, Pikachu. Number 623, Hollywood. Number 626, Remy Ruckus. Number 772, Al Annihilator. And your captain of the Runaway Brides, number 95, Lightning the Queen. That's your Runaway Brides for this evening. Sorry, on the bench are Coach Troy McClure and Cryptic Callie. I know what I'm doing, I promise.
All right, taking the track now, it's your Brutal Beauties. Skating tonight for the Brutal Beauties, that's number 4, Cherry Kiss. 1029, Reckless Rose. Number 12, Maximum Overdrive. Number 2011, Colette Razorcat. Number 38, NC Jammer. Number 555, there, Stevie Thunder. Number 616, it's your Antifa. Number 69, Florence Puke. Number 96, All of You Die. 9MK3, that's Gypsy Danger. And your co-captain for the Brutal Beauties, number 2323, it's Quiver Phoenix. And the captain of the Brutal Beauties, number 2187, Princess Leia. Helping the team out on their bench tonight, that's Evil Twin and Lady Macbeth.
So these two teams, as we prepare within the last minute of the bout countdown clock, these two teams are currently number 1 and number 2 in our season standings. Of course, this is our first full regular season with home teams in 3 years. I don't know, something happened the last 2 years. We just took a couple of years off for no reason. These two teams are currently number 1 and 2 in the league and are competing for playoff seeding. So the winner of this game right here, the winner of this bout, will be number 1 in the playoffs next month. And the second place team will be second in the playoffs, and that'll set the matchups. Right now also waiting in the playoffs are the Scrappers and the Doomsday Valkyries, and they will know their opponents when the final whistle blows on this bout. So those are the stakes that we are facing as we prepare for the first jam of this bout. It's going to be Princess Leia for the Brutal Beauties.
I see Hollywood taking the line for the Brides. Starting off a little bit slow. Not. Both jammers get out at the same time. Hollywood is rapidly paced by Princess Leia. They're going to have some fun, though. We'll see if we can pick up a point here.
Hollywood's dipping low in the corners and trying to keep Slaya cut off. And Hollywood.
Hollywood saw 1 point and said, I'm going to go get that one.
Excellent effort. And, of course, these two teams already knowing they've seen the other team fairly tear through the competition so far. So every point is going to matter. You can see there all that effort just to get that 1 point for the Brides. And the scoring's underway, 1-0. On the jammer line, that's Pikachu for the Brides.
Cherry Kiss out there for the Beauties. Cherry rushing to the middle of the pack, gets to the front of the pack, trying to get by Remy Ruckus, pushes them out of play, and is your lead jammer.
Pikachu at the back of the pack. Pikachu's wearing 172 like normal, not 44, so we'll correct that minor clerical detail. Anyway, Pikachu out the front of the pack. Cherry Kiss now gets pushed off to the infield, tries to get back up and reestablish, and calls it off. So 1 point for the Brutal Beauties, and we have our first tie of what will probably be several at 1-1, which is the lowest score you can have with a tie, because technically 0-0 is no score. Anyway, that's enough facts for now. On the jammer line for the Runaway Brides is Muerta.
That's Gypsy Danger out there for the Beauties. Gypsy Danger working the way through the middle of the pack while Muerta gets knocked to the infield. Gypsy Danger takes a turn skating in through the infield, gets to the front of the pack again. Gets past Nova Kane and gets out as your lead jammer. Muerta emerges from the back of the pack as well. Gypsy Danger's got about a quarter track lead on this one. Sizing up the pack, picks off 1 point.
There we are again. Apparently this is just going to be whoever gets the last point wins.
I see 1 point. I'm going to take it and call off the jam.
Yeah. So far, Bill, there we go. 5 points for the Beauties, and it's just going to be back and forth throughout indeed. I see Rickety Bones on the jammer line for the Brides.
And that's the captain of the Beauties, Princess Slaya out there. Right? No, it's not. That's Olive out there.
Yeah, that's Olive.
I'm reading jerseys instead of numbers. Olive gets out as your lead jammer.
Bones at the back of the pack. Also, Bones also wearing 13-12 like normal. There goes Bones out to the outside and tries to fight to the inside and gets on through. Up to the high side, pinned to the rail was Olive. Olive got knocked hard into the rail right there, yeah. I happened to be looking right at that, and Olive just took that guardrail right in the right hip. So that's gonna sting. 3 more points for the Beauties. Beauties in front 8-1 at the moment. And that's gonna be Florence Puke for the Brutal Beauties.
That's Holly Hood back out there for the Brides. Rose takes Holly Hood to the infield for a second. Slows her down. And Holly Hood emerges as your lead jammer.
Tightly bunched back in behind. Now Florence Butte tries to run around on the rail and just runs out of real estate trying to squeeze by. I think that was Novocaine at the front. Now here comes Hollywood on a scoring pass.
Florence Puke having trouble getting past Al and Ilhacha, and just as I say that, they emerge. They get out of the pack. They're trailing jammer.
Hollywood calls it off. I think Hollywood might have gotten 5 on that pass. I think she got by Florence Puke. We'll have to check the score because I'm not an official. Hey, once in a while I can actually see something down there. It was a 5-point jam for Hollywood. So 8-6 Beauties at the moment. Your jammer for the Beauties is Evil Twin. Stevie Thunder.
That's Remy Ruckus out there for the Brides. Remy Ruckus sees some daylight at the bottom of the track, and they take advantage of it. They get straight out.
Stevie Thunder behind a solid wall of Brides. Sorry about that, Stevie. I will do better as the bout goes on, and I can see more numbers. Now there's a blocker out to the front for the Brides, kind of trying to create a little turbulence. Remy Ruckus, meanwhile, slides down to the infield. Still a little bit of chaos going on out there. Everybody kind of comes together, and now Remy to the front. Stevie's going to try to follow right along and get around the outside. And Stevie Thunder shakes free of the pack, so Remy calls it off.
That was a tough one for the Beauties. Beauties had 2 blockers in the box, but they were able to get their jammer out and get some points on the board.
Another 5 for the Brides. Jammer picking up the jammer point. We're a little more than halfway through this first quarter. It's been a defensive grind so far. Princess Leia to the jammer line for the Beauties.
Brides are sending Slaughtermelon out there to jam for the first time. Slaughtermelon gets knocked to the infield by Princess Leia and then followed up by Reckless Rose.
Really spread out pack now. They're all strewn out across the entire first turn, and now everybody comes together at the regulator's urging. Princess Leia is your lead jammer out of the pack for the Brutal Beauties. Runs into the back wall. The Beauties still had Slaughtermelon pinned into the back, but Slaughtermelon still in the back now behind that 2 wall of Gypsy Danger. That's Gypsy Danger, and that is, I want to give the other blocker credit, Reckless Rose, thank you. There we are. Thankfully, Bill knows most of the skaters by sight.
Here comes Cherry Kiss back to the jammer line for the Beauties.
Jammer for the Brides is Ash Smash'em.
Taking the jammer line for the first time, but wait.
Oh, all right, it's going to be a timeout. Rico signals for an official timeout down on the track. So we'll take a break from the action. At the moment, we're tied again, 11-11 all around with 5:18 to go in the first quarter.
Hey, folks, be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Dame snack bar to grab a cold beverage or a snack. All proceeds go back to the league, and your support is greatly appreciated. Chips and sodas and candy bars and such. That's the kind of stuff they got over here, right over here in the middle by the bathrooms.
What are increadines? I'm just going to read it.
Okay, then.
Derby fans, one of our newer sponsors, Salud. Stay hydrated and ready for action with Salud. Each serving of Salud includes clean, premium increadines you can feel about. Best of all, they do it with only 1 gram of sugar, with flavors like horchata, Jamaica.
Ash and Cherry both working their way through the middle of the pack as the pack's coming through turns 1 and 2. Ash Smash'em comes the high side, gets out to emerge as the lead jammer. Cherry trying to get out of the pack as well. And Ash calls it off right at the moment it starts becoming fun.
Cherry Kiss had come out of the pack with a vengeance, and so Ash Smash'em called that one off, and we will reconvene. It's going to be Gypsy Danger for the Brutal Beauties.
Holly Hood coming to the line for the Brides again. This bout is tied, though, 11-11.
Everybody check it in. We're ready to go. Hollywood, Gypsy Danger had paused looking for an opening. Hollywood shoves her out of the way and just goes on through. Lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. Gypsy Danger, wow, somebody sprung her with a great block. I think that was Reckless Rose down there, but unfortunately, friendly fire and 3 of the Beauties ended up taking each other out, so Hollywood drifts on through, gets an easy scoring pass out of it, and calls it off.
Yeah, they got their jammer out. That was an aggressive move by Reckless Rose. Got the jammer out.
Very much so. I caught a glimpse of a pink shirt throwing a heck of a block down there.
Right.
So, Brides in front 15-11, and we have a jammer penalty on Gypsy Danger. It is our first power jam of the bout, and it's Nikki Badass to do the jamming for the Runaway Brides.
Brides looking to extend their 4-point lead on this one with about 3.5 minutes left in this first quarter.
Brutal Beauties do have a full complement of blockers otherwise, as do the Brides. So this is, big tumble there. Nikki comes up to the front wall, is trying to knock those blockers out of the way. They do have to clear the path, and Nikki gets through. 45 seconds to go on the Brides power jam. The Brides do have 2 of the Beauties pinned in at the back. If 1 goat is better, 2 is great.
Lightning comes off of that line, comes up to challenge the 2 Beauties, push them a little bit further out of play.
So Nikki, about 15 seconds per scoring pass. That's a nice, tidy turnaround time. Catching up to the pack now with 22 seconds left on the clock. Now everybody kind of breaks together. Nikki along the inside, weaves past Cherry Kiss. 15 seconds left. Nikki's got enough time to come around for one more. Nikki catching up to the pack. Is going to get by the first couple, weaving her way through up to the outside, and that's going to do it.
Nikki putting points on the board.
Runaway Brides have doubled their score, are now in front 30-11 after a 15-point power jam from Nikki Badass. Just over 2 minutes to go until the end of this quarter. I feel like are we start? It looks like we're going to start. Okay, a little bit of chaos there, but we got everybody up and everybody down.
That's NC Jammer out there on the jammer line for the Beauties, and Huerta out there for the Brides. Huerta transitions around, gets backwards, and is able to get out of the pack, but NC is coming in hot. NC trying to catch up, and Huerta can hear those skates coming, calls off the jam. Stevie Thunder back to the line for the Beauties.
And your jammer for the Runaway Brides is Pikachu.
Stevie Thunder trying the high side by the rail, bouncing along, gets to the front of the pack where the Beauties are holding a solid 2-wall. Nikki and Lightning. Beauties trying to break it up. Peak held in the back. Looks like Olive, Princess Leia, and Cherry.
And there we go. Stevie Thunder gets waved on through. Lead jammer for the Brutal Beauties.
That pack is almost stopped on the backside of the track.
Yeah, you saw Stevie kind of using the rail for leverage and just trying to get that last blocker pushed out of play, and finally was able to do it. Now again, Stevie is just going to try to attack that wall, get some help from their pivot. Stevie off down into the infield. And the jam clock's going to expire, so we'll check from the infield there.
But Stevie Thunder picking up points that whole way.
There we go. So 4 points for Stevie there. This will be the last jam of the first quarter that we're approaching at the moment. It's going to be Princess Leia for the Brutal Beauties.
Slaughtermelon back out there to take the line for the Brides. Brides leading 30-15 right now.
Oh, wow. That was quite a collision between the two jammers. Racing around the outside goes Slaya. Along the inside comes Slaughtermelon. Slaya's going to try to get back to the pack. One of our fastest skaters in the league by a large margin amongst the fast skaters. Slaya gets up, gets her back of the pack points, and calls it off. There it is, 2 points for the Beauties to close out the scoring here in the first quarter. So we'll take a quarter break, take a moment to catch our breath. It's 30-17. Brides in front right now on the strength of one big old power jam, right about 3 minutes to go in the quarter. And back to the action we go.
Well, here comes Cherry Kiss for the Beauties.
Your jammer for the Runaway Brides is Bones.
Cherry working their way to the front of the pack real fast. Going up against Nikki Badass.
And there, I thought, nope, that's not Cherry. Sorry, no star. Saw somebody coming around the outside, but it was not Cherry, just a defender getting into position. Both jammers can confirm, still in the pack at the moment. As the pack make their way up into the far turn right in front of us.
Cherry trying to get by Lightning, Ash Smash'em, and Nikki Badass.
Now
they
the
keep recycling in front of them.
Two jammers run right into each other. Bill and I are each watching one jammer, and then we collided because they did. There goes Cherry out the front of the pack, and Cherry is your lead jammer with 15 seconds left on the jam clock. Both teams have been punching each other in the mouth repeatedly for 50 seconds here, so Bones out the front of the pack. Cherry finishes the scoring pass and calls it off. So that would appear to be a 4-pointer. There it is. It's 4 for the Beauties, so cuts that lead down to less than 10 at the moment. It's Gypsy Danger for the Beauties.
Holly Hood out there taking the line for the Brides. Both jammers tried the high side. Gypsy Danger up against the rail. Novocaine pushes them further into the rail, but dives to the bottom and gets out as your lead jammer. Holly Hood trying to get by Cherry Kiss, or by Antifa, and gets by. Gypsy Danger's got about a second or two to make a couple points. Calls off the jam.
Holly Hood coming in with a full head of steam at the back end there. So Gypsy Danger gets 2 points out of it, 30-23. So far the Brutal Beauties have done all the scoring in this quarter. That's going to be All of You Die on the jammer line for the Beauties.
And the Brides are sending Ash Smash'em out there to jam for the first time this evening. Ash Smash'em comes down to the bottom of the track, gets escorted to the infield by Cherry Kiss. All of You Die battling their way to the front of the pack up against Remy Ruckus and Nikki Badass. Pikachu making a guest appearance up there.
All of You Die is just trying to brute force drive that front wall out of play, and does it. Look at that. All of You Die just driving that pack with her legs. Excellent effort by Olive to get out and be lead jammer for the Beauties here. They've still got Ash Smash'em in the back of the pack, so Olive's going to look for a 5-point pass here. And once again, there's Olive just trying to single-handedly push the 4-wall out of the way. Now get some help from her blockers.
Beauties come to Olive's aid and trying to give Olive some room to score those extra points. 5 seconds left on the jam and calls it off.
So 5 points for the Beauties. It was indeed a 5-point pass. We close in on being tied once again. This is going to be Florence Puke for the Brutal Beauties.
That's Muerta out there for the Brides. Teams getting their blockers set. Beauties sitting 2 blockers this jam. Thin pack, Muerta gets escorted to the infield there by NC Jammer. NC Jammer once again. The front of the pack holding them back.
I was going to say the Brides with this big blocker advantage can spare 2 blockers at the back to keep Florence Puke pinned in.
Holly Hood comes in and gets her jammer out.
Muerta now closing in on a scoring pass. Florence Puke still trying to get by. Muerta drifting right down along the inside. Brides didn't even need all their blockers there. Al Annihilation was just waving Muerta on by, and now they're going to try to hold it down again. Muerta this time spun off to the infield. Pack is going to kind of reformulate up in front, but Muerta gets on through. Another scoring pass. Florence Puke takes off while nobody was watching. And Muerta calls it off coming down the back straightaway. So another offensive outburst for the Brides. They're going to put 10 more points on the board and push that lead back into double digits. Right now, jamming for the Beauties is Stevie Thunder, and at the moment, well, let's hold the phone. I see Troy McClure.
We're looking like a power jam,
Right.
but wait.
Well, I saw Troy McClure approaching.
I know.
I saw Troy McClure coming up to head referee, is referee, right? Lollipop. And then suddenly, Lady Macbeth sprung off the Beauties bench and frantically called a timeout. So I do see them getting ready for a challenge in the back straightaway, though. So one would have to figure that it's going to be the Brides trying not to lose their jammer. We will have to see, though, because I've been wrong before. And again, I'm not an official, so don't take my word for it. So, challenge. We'll get the nature of it and the success of it here momentarily. We'll take a break with 6:56 to go till halftime. The Brides in front, 40-28 at the moment.
Hey, folks, are you between the ages of 10 and 17 and you love to skate? Well, our minor assaults are looking for new skaters to join their team. Our coaches not only teach technique and leadership, but knowledge of the sport, and they help build leadership, teamwork, and problem-solving skills that are going to help in life situations far beyond roller derby. Minor skating skills, a dedication to learn, and a positive mental attitude is all that we require. Come see what the fun is all about. Ask any derby dame how to get involved. 7 of the skaters that you see out here on the track were minor assaults. Many of them teammates, all of them skating, and they come in and they end up being some of the most effective, best skaters on the teams they join. Muerta, Pikachu, Lightning the Queen, Cherry Kiss, NC Jammer, Florence Pugh, All of You Die. All of them have been minor assaults in the last couple of years, and they're the ones that you hear us calling their names out there making things happen.
So, clerical note, we did officially proceed into a challenge by the Runaway Brides. So, Brides are going to be challenging this. Again, the smart money is on it being a challenge to the jammer penalty, but we will see. Meanwhile, we'd like to let you know about another one of our league sponsors, Copper Star Coffee. They're a locally owned coffee shop and cafe providing hand-blended drinks and award-winning baked goods. You can visit them on the southwest corner of 7th Avenue in Heatherbrae, that's just north of Indian School Road, for delicious coffee, tea, muffins, and their incredible homemade bagels every day. You know, pro tip, you may not know this, but Copper Star Coffee has a bagel called the Frankenstein. It's wonderful. It's made in-house. If you thought their plain bagels were good, and trust me, they are, I eat a lot of bread, so I can attest to that. Anyway, the Frankenstein bagel is a jalapeno, then everything seasoning, and then baked with a layer of cheese. And as word spreads, everybody says they're fantastic. So stop in there at Copper Star, get yourself wonderful handmade bagels, handcrafted drinks. Every day, they are fantastic.
You know what? Are you interested in being a part of this roller derby community, but hitting people isn't your thing? Well, our regulators down here on the track and up here in the box are always looking for dedicated and eager minds to learn our rule set and help keep our skaters on the track safe. Our regulator team is an open gender team, and there are various levels of officiating that go on during a roller derby bout. Come be a part of the action, help our league grow. Ask any skater or any regulator how to get involved.
They advertise their pork green chili as being the big thing. But they have the pork green chili. Yeah, so it's pork chunks braised in green chili stew. So they basically turn it into a wonderful lunch. Katie actually had a pork green chili bowl this morning. All right, reporting up for the infield, the challenge by the Brides is successful. Penalty is overturned. Brides do not lose their challenge for the first half. So, penalty on the jammer overturned. We will not have a power jam for the for the Brutal Beauties. just past the halfway point of the second quarter here, and we'll be getting back underway in a moment once everybody gets fully apprised of the situation. Okay, there we go. So once again, it is still Stevie Thunder on the jammer line for the Brutal Beauties.
And here comes Holly Hood taking the line for the Brides.
Both teams down a blocker at the moment.
Stevie Thunder sits down on the track, and Holly Hood gets out of the track, gets out of the pack. Holly Hood is your lead jammer. Stevie Thunder taking that high line, trying to get by. Gets by Nikki Badass, trying to get by, passing Lightning the Queen. As Holly Hood comes through the pack, scores all the points, and is coming back for more. Lightning the Queen is a wrecking crew, keeping Stevie Thunder in place.
And I was going to say, Holly Hood just treated Cherry Kiss real bad at the front of that pack. That's going to be awkward at Thanksgiving. Now Stevie Thunder trying to get out the front of the pack, now taken off. Holly Hood blasts right through those two blockers again. And Holly Hood is not going to pursue the jammer point. Defensive indifference.
That's almost surprising.
So Holly Hood put 14 points up on the board for the Brides. Again, another big chunk for the Brides.
That's Bones back out there for the Brides, coming to the line.
It's Princess Leia for the Brutal Beauties. Both jammers still trying to work their way through the pack, and now Leia taking some big strides to the outside, but wasn't able to get by Lightning at the front of the pack. Bones pushed off again at the back of the pack, and there goes Leia out the front of the pack. So Leia lead jammer for the Brutal Beauties. Bones out the front of the pack for the Brides. And now Leia comes up to that front wall, gets bumped off by the defenders for the Brides. Leia gets back up and calls it off. All right, before we proceed, I see we're going to have a timeout. All right, Runaway Brides. It's so hard because they both start with BR. Yeah, the Runaway Brides have called a team timeout, so they'll take a moment to talk some strategy over. 4:29 to halftime.
I saw some penalties on the board there for the Brides, and this might turn into a challenge as well.
Yeah, you might as well try to go 2 for 2 as long as you have the opportunity to.
Right. Yep, exactly. Hey, if you can't make it to a roller derby bout, but you're interested in what's going on, especially next time, we've got a solution for you. You can live stream this from home or from a laptop or from an iPad or whatever your mode of technology is. Visit the Derby Dames Twitch channel or their Facebook page to learn more. Shout out to all of our fans watching on the live stream. Thank you for supporting our league from home.
Looks like we're just about ready to get right back underway. We'll check on the whiteboard. I see a star. That's the only thing I can see on the whiteboard from here. And it's not your fault, whiteboard person. I can't see anything. But I know when there's a squiggly mark in that outside margin, that's a star, and that means a jammer penalty. No, you're doing a great job. I can't see.
It's a star or a cut.
That's my fault.
I can't tell. But it looks like we got Cherry Kiss on the line to skate this jam all by her lonesome.
All right, it's going to be a really small pack as well. The Brides only have 2 blockers out there. Beauties down a blocker as well, but this is going to be a wide open track for Cherry Kiss to try to get around as many times as possible.
Cherry's got to get past her former coach and her sister.
That's
so
right.
We'll see how this goes. Beauties are trailing 54-32.
Cherry's still trying to get through now. The Beauties were going to try to cause those blockers to be out of play, and it did not work. So far, the defense is up to par, and I'd have to say if you're only going to have 2 defenders out there, I would say pick Lightning and Al as well.
Those are the 2.
That's good. That's solid coaching by the Brides coaches, is to pick your 2 best defenders. Cherry now gets out, but those 2 defenders have eaten 45 seconds off the power jam clock. My goodness.
And a fast pack is going to make this hard for Cherry to score some points. If Cherry can get by one of the blockers, it's 4 points.
They're going to try to play, ducks through, weaves by. All right, she got by Lightning. We'll have to check on if she was able to get those hips in front of Callie. She did. Cherry Kiss got all 5 of those points in that scoring pass.
That was a hard 5 points to earn.
That really was. So 5 points for the Beauties on the power jam. Must say again, excellent defense by those 2 defenders for the Brides. It's going to be Gypsy Danger at the jammer line for the Beauties.
And Nikki Badass out there. Nikki Badass out there for the Brides.
Oh, goodness. It's going to be a power jam for the Brides. Right now, the Beauties are down there. It's going to be another timeout, so I will save the power jam hype. All right. So this is going to be the Brutal Beauties. Challenging, would have to guess. Once again, they're probably challenging the jammer penalty. So we'll check on that once the challenge is wrapped up. 2:59 until halftime.
Hey, Derby fans, if you're enjoying tonight's roller derby action, and this is obviously an amazing bout, we got more amazing roller derby coming up. It's playoff time, April 15th. I mean, not if you don't have any taxes or anything else to do, but it's okay. I'll give you an extension. The IRS will too, because that's a weekend. So you have nothing else on April 15th. So come on down for some live roller derby action. We got the doors at 5, first whistle at 6. We're going to be seeing the Doomsday Valkyries, the Brutal Beauties, the Scrappers, and the Runaway Brides in some competition. We were going to see all 4 of those teams playing that evening.
Yeah, really, I mean, the taxes aren't going to be due until Monday the 17th anyway, so you don't have to do them until after work Monday. Yeah.
Or get them done before that. I mean, you know.
Or just procrastinate. Why do it early when you can do it late? That's what I always say. Meanwhile, Siphon Draw Apothecary Shop. It's all-natural, non-toxic, handcrafted skincare products made by our very own regulator, Dale de los Muertos. We want to shout out this sponsor for always providing us with plenty of hand sanitizer to keep our hands nice and clean. Visit siphondraw.com for their incredible products. They have all sorts of skincare and pain reliever sticks. The pain sticks are great. Everything smells absolutely wonderful. That's Siphon Draw Apothecary Shop.
Hey, you sitting there. What are you doing next weekend? Well, I'll tell you what you can do next weekend. Do you like bowling? Do you like roller derby? Well, channel your own inner Lebowski and come on down to the Schoolyard Scrappers fundraiser on Saturday, March 25th. We're having a bowling fundraiser. Scrappers are checking out the entire bowling alley for roller derby fans to come on down, field a team of 4, do some bowling, win some prizes. The goal is to make as close to 1 month's rent as possible. There are tons of spots for team signups and sponsorship opportunities. Ask any scrapper for some information. I hope to see you there.
All right, challenge is over. Here comes Bender B. Rodriguez. All right, that penalty is upheld. Unsuccessful challenge by the Brutal Beauties. So everybody's going to talk it over. We'll make sure everybody's on the same page and get back to the action. Should probably be a power jam for the Brides in that case, but we will double check. All right, underway we go. As promised, it's a power jam for the brides. Nikki Badass out there, and Nikki runs into a bride's blocker and says, "Excuse me." Gets on by and is already out in an active scorer here for the brides on this power jam. Now
Beauty's trying to slow the pack down a little bit. And trying to hold Nikki Badass and jam things up for a second or two.
Now basically each bride has a beauty, and as Nikki was coming, each bride just knocked a beauty out of the way. Definitely looks like the brides took that challenge timeout and talked about some strategy. There they go again. The blocking for the brides is so effective that Al Annihilate is just shouting out encouragements from the front of the pack and not actually having to block anyone. So that was a pretty good show on the power jam. 20 big points on the power jam for Nikki Badass. All right, setting up for the next jam, under 2 minutes to go till halftime. That's Cherry Kiss for the Beauties.
Hey, the brides are stemming Remy Ruckus back up there.
Tightly bunched pack heading down through the corner, really tightly bunched pack. Now everything kind of springs loose, and there's Cherry at the front of the pack. Somebody up there, that's Peak at the front of the pack. Pikachu with the defense and knocked Cherry all the way to the back of the pack. Cherry, though, as Cherry is wont to do, fights right back through the pack and gets clear. Now a whole bunch of skaters taking a tumble, and Remy gets out for the brides. So here comes Cherry Kiss now. It's going to have one scoring pass. Cherry weaves on through the pack and calls it off.
Cherry earned every one of those 4 points right there.
Indeed. All right, so we set up for what will most likely be the last jam of the first half. That's going to be NC Jammer for the Beauties.
See Muerta out there taking the line for the brides. A couple of former recent minor assaults as well.
Both
Minors represent, huh?
Muerta up to the front, dealing with that pivot for the Beauties, and that pivot for the Beauties escorts Muerta down to the infield. Now trying to get back up, Muerta along the inside, and Muerta is out and clear. NC Jammer still pinned in behind those blockers at the front of the pack. Muerta weaves on through to finish off a scoring pass. Can confirm quarter clock has expired, so we're stepping into halftime at the end of this jam, which has 16 seconds left on it. Muerta now up, takes a tumble, runs into a blocker, and just kind of, oh, and a big block there. I saw Al clear in the path. Muerta gets waved on through. And Muerta calls it off after much hard effort on 2 scoring passes. 10 more points for the brides to close out scoring here in the first quarter. So we'll step aside for a very brief 10-minute halftime break. Your score right now, Runaway Brides 84, Brutal Beauties 41.
I'm gonna go check out the food truck.
Okay, underway we go, and indeed, as we were going into halftime, a jammer penalty was announced on the Brides. So this is going to be a power jam for the Brutal Beauties to get things started in the second half.
Looks like that's team captain Princess Leia out there to take this jam.
Do we have any Brutal Beauties fans in the house this evening? There we go. Hey, look, we're not going to hide it. They're in a bit of a deficit, but a great way to start building out of a deficit is offense. Leia now to the front of the pack.
Trying to get through Novocaine, Lightning the Queen, Alan Ilhecha, and Holly Hood. That's a hell of a front line to have to try to get past. Reckless Rose out there trying to provide some offense, knocks some players in out of play, and they have to let Princess Leia out. Still 20 seconds left on this jam. Leia coming around for a scoring pass.
Leia gets pushed up into the rail. Now teammates trying to spring her free so she can finish off the scoring pass. Knocked down to the inside. And that's going to do it. Clock's going to expire on that. Power jam. So again, another stalwart defensive effort from the Runaway Brides on the penalty kill. Checking now. Jam ref Meryl Streak is checking with our eye in the sky. Excuse me. Yeah, Meryl Streak checking in. 4 points on the power jam there for Princess Leia and the Brutal Beauties. Up to the jammer line now for the Runaway Brides. That's Pikachu.
Nicely Cherry Kiss on the line for the Brutal Beauties. Cherry dives low, gets out as your lead jammer. Able to find a spot opening at the bottom of the track.
Took a block from Nikki on her way by, but kept her balance. Meanwhile, Pikachu out of the pack for the Brides.
Cherry cutting through the pack, coming to the front there. That's Nikki Badass and Lightning the Queen. Cherry going ahead and calling off the jam now.
It was very amusing, but that was a defensive wall. It looked like Nikki and Ash were holding together. And Cherry skated up and kind of leaned over and then tried to back in and stick her hips between them. Cherry gets 3 points for her efforts, so I'm not sure which of either of those skaters with the butt first pass she got or not. 84-48 Brides at the moment. Slaughtermelon to the jammer line for the Brides.
Gypsy Danger coming to the line for the Beauties right now. Gypsy trying that low side of the track, follows Slaughtermelon out. And just as we're about to get a jammer change, Slaughtermelon calls it off.
You know, it's funny, as we reset for the next jam, no score either side. Back when we first opened up after the pandemic, everybody was wearing masks on the track. All the skaters wore masks. And now Gypsy Danger is the only skater now who still does, and it makes her kind of look like Bane. It's a cool look.
It's a good look.
Anyway, up to the jammer line is NC Jammer for the Beauties.
That's Bones out there for the Brides. Our score is a palindrome, 84-48 right now. Brides leading it.
You know what I always like to say? Palindromes are raised more than a lap. Anyway, there's NC Jammer to the front of the pack.
Bones and NC knocked to the infield there. Bones has to take a position at the back of the track behind all the blockers.
They've got NC Jammer thoroughly pinned to the rail, but NC's able to spin free and gets in front of that last blocker. And NC's your lead jammer for the Beauties halfway through the jam clock.
And then Bones is emerging from the pack right here as NC's coming up on a scoring pass. Picking up points as NC skates through. Gets to the front of the pack. Calling off the jam, doing battle with Nikki Badass right there.
There's another 3 for the Brutal Beauties. Again, just trying to etch away and get a little toehold with which to make a run. That is going to be Princess Leia on the jammer line for the Beauties.
The Brides are sending Slaughtermelon back to the line. Slaughtermelon trying the high side, able to get out though as your lead jammer. Leia tied up at the back of the pack right there behind Alan Ilhecha and Huerta. Beauty's trying to wall up as the Huerta comes to the back of the pack. Knocked to the infield by Antifa. Held in the back of the pack, Reckless Rose now in Antifa. Couple of coffin draggers out there guest starring tonight.
Princess Leia gets out of the pack for the Beauties. Leia was firmly backed up against Muerta, and then all of a sudden Leia just ducked out and Muerta almost fell, and Leia got around her to get clear. It was quite the wily veteran move. Kind of back out from beneath them when they think they're backing you down to the hoop. 3 points for the Brides there. We're under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Nikki Badass to the jammer line for the Brides.
Cherry Kiss is going to be the Beauties jammer.
I guess they couldn't afford a whole jersey for Nikki. That's too bad. Just a joke. Obviously, Nikki's wearing a
Nikki
short.
trying the high side right there, tries to get out. Gets knocked into the rail by Stevie Thunder. Stevie Thunder ends up knocking themselves down to the track. Nikki Badass gets out as your lead jammer, but Cherry's right behind.
Cherry's up for the chase. Again, Cherry up in that upper echelon of fast skaters amongst a whole lot of fast skaters. And yeah, then the hard part is stopping, or you look like that kid in Mighty Ducks 2 that crashes into the cans all the time.
Cherry was putting the pressure on Nikki right there.
Absolutely. Forces the call off. No points for either side, and that's what you want from your trailing jammer. You've got Muerta on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides.
Going to do some battle with Gypsy Danger for the Beauties.
Tightly bunched pack and a whole lot of skaters going every which way, and then bursting out the front, it's both jammers. Gypsy calls it off. Muerta had put her head down and gone into drive and forces the call off.
Gypsy calls it off, but Alan I'll gave Muerta a whip, and Muerta was gaining some
I was going to
speed.
say, I thought Muerta came out of that pack with a little more than just a head start.
A little bit of oomph.
It just seemed like she was gaining rather quickly on Gypsy Danger. I know she's fast, but come on now. So again, no points for either side. That's going to be Lightning the Queen.
Lightning the Queen and NC Jammer, a couple of minor assaults, taking the jammer line right now. Lightning gets out of the pack. NC gets knocked to the infield by Nikki Badass, has to go back and reestablish themselves on the track.
Yeah, NC was right there and then just kind of ran out of real estate next to Lightning. And
it
now
was
is
so
getting
close, too.
Now is getting the worst of it from the defense there at the front end. Lightning now gets past that last blocker who looks like was out of play at the moment. There's 24 seconds left on the jam clock. NC was as clear of the pack as Lightning was, and now absolutely cannot get free. That defense has been suffocating. There she goes. NC out the front of the pack as I speak of it. Lightning is drifting in here and knows the clock has almost expired and is content to let the clock expire.
Still about 4 minutes left in this half.
Up to the jammer line for the first time for the Runaway Brides this evening. That's Astro. Did I say Runaway Brides? The Runaway Brides, number 420, Astro Thought.
Princess Leia coming to the line again for the Beauties. Pikachu is taking a seat in the penalty box, and that's the only penalty we have. Brides are down a blocker.
Astro Thought kind of slides up into the kick rail. That's why it's there. Meanwhile, that was a big old boom. There was a block at the back of the pack. Slaya to the front. Those defenders. Slaya gets waved on by. Both defenders off the track. The back of the pack now. Astro trying to find an opening. Reckless Rose escorts them off to the infield. Meanwhile, here comes Slaya down to the inside. Oh, Slaya thought she was clear. And Hollywood said, "You are not clear. You go to the infield." What a block there. Wow. 14 seconds left on the jam. It takes me a second to recover when I see a block like that. You got to catch your breath. Slaya gets knocked down to the inside again. Astro at the back of the pack still trying to find an opening, and Slaya's going to call it off.
Reckless Rose out there just making things painful for the Brides.
All right, 2:30 to go until the end of this quarter. It's going to be Ash Smash'em for the Runaway Brides.
And Ash is going up against Cherry Kiss. Cherry coming to the jammer line for the Beauties, 95-54 with 2.5 minutes left in this half. And all I smell is green chili.
Oh, yeah, right. Cherry down to the inside. Lightning McQueen closed the door. A little bit of fratricide happening down going into the corner. And there goes Ash to the front. Ash smash him, lead jammer. Cherry Kiss gets in front of her. And Cherry's going to take off. Cherry is now lead jammer. You've had your first lead jam switch of the bout. Ash is going to keep up the pursuit from behind, though, and try to force a call off. Cherry Kiss calling out blocker instructions, fast-moving pack. Cherry gets pushed up to the outside by Lightning, and Ash Smash'em forces the call off.
Cherry pauses for a moment to smile at Ash Smash'em. Slaughtermelon coming to the line for the brides on this next jam.
Brutal Beauties, who scored 3 points in the previous jam, are going to send Gypsy Danger.
Slaughtermelon on the high side gets tied up behind Florence Pugh. Gypsy was heading for the out, but ended up going to the infield.
Slaughtermelon has scored it off to the infield by that 2-pack of blockers. Gypsy along the inside, and Gypsy's out and clear for the Beauties. Slaughtermelon again shoved off by Reckless Rose down there along the inside. I see All of You Die up there mixing it up on defense for the Beauties as well. Slaughtermelon's still not out, and here comes Gypsy Danger trying to fight through a wall of defenders. Now
Gypsy pushing up on that rail behind Nova Kane, coming up there trying to slow him down.
Slaughtermelon still trying to fight through at the front of the pack and can't do it. That pivot for the Beauties just pins Slaughtermelon to the rail. Gypsy Danger still trying to fight through at the front of the pack, but I think the clock is going to expire. Gypsy says, no, I'm going to call the jam off. I proved you wrong. We'll check on that score there. I didn't catch who that was on pivot for the Beauties, but that was a heck of a block to keep Slaughtermelon pinned to the rail, and I like to give credit where credit is due. 4 points for the Beauties, and they call a team timeout. So your score right now with 18 seconds to go, 1 jam until the end of the third quarter.
Beauties looking to get one more thing out of this, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. 95-61. Beauties are trying to stay within shouting distance as we get ready to head into the third quarter momentarily. Hey, we'd like to let you know Tucci's Touch. Tucci's Touch Massage. They specialize in deep tissue, trigger point therapy, and much more. Tucci is here tonight. Come down and visit Tucci and get a free 10-minute chair massage, because that's just a taste of how good a full massage is. And I am a happy customer. And let me tell you, I heard sounds from my hips and knees that I thought would be painful, but felt really good instead. That's my clumsy way of saying it was a really good service. So come down and check out Tucci's Touch down here next to our merchandise booth is what it's called.
Looks like the brides are sending Lightning out there. What may end up being the last jam of the quarter.
Possibly, yeah, with the clock being stopped. Jamming for the Beauties is Stevie Thunder. And Lightning's out the front of the pack. Lightning's your lead jammer for the brides. Stevie got routed off to the infield. Now Stevie up to the rail. Nikki playing pivot. And Lightning finishing off the scoring pass. That block by Nikki was pretty slick. Lightning cleared, and then Nikki blocked Stevie to the infield. Again, just wily veteran moves, and it's fun to watch stuff like that if you watch the blocker pack. Watch them sometime. It's fun. Here goes Lightning to the outside. Stevie almost clear, but takes a tumble down to the inside. And Lightning's going to go ahead and call it off. Quarter clock has expired, so we'll step aside for a quarter break. The Runaway Brides have broken 100. 105-61 Brides on top.
Hey, Derby fans and raffle fans, that 50-50 is at $135. Get those 50-50.
All right, we are underway, ready to go here in the fourth quarter. 105-61. Brides in front at the moment. At the jammer line for the Brides, Ash Smash'em. The jammer for the Brutal Beauties is Princess Sleia as they head down through the first turn. A little spread out pack, both jammers fighting to get by their respective defensive walls at the moment. Now both halves of the pack come together and now spread out again, just as I say that. And Sleia is able to get Novocaine pushed out of play. And Sleia is your lead jammer halfway through the jam clock. Ash trying to get clear. Ash gets a personal escort to the infield as Sleia tries to get by along the inside. 15 seconds left on the jam clock. We're going to call it off. Princess Sleia calls off the jam as everybody was kind of mired in the doldrums down there coming out of the first turn. 2 points for the Beauties there for all of Sleia's effort. 2 big points on the board. Now at the jammer line, well, not really at the jammer line, but within the same zip code as the jammer line, we have Hollyhood and Cherry Kiss for the Brides and Beauties respectively.
Hood trying the low there. Knocked to the infield, gets back out on the track, though, behind Quiver Phoenix.
Oh, Cherry Kiss stays upright. Wow. That was something else. Hollyhood is your lead jammer. Let's give that respect. Hollyhood is your lead jammer, but I don't know how Cherry Kiss stayed upright. That's nuts. Hollyhood up to the front of the pack with Cherry Kiss barreling in from behind, and Hollyhood calls it off. I'm going to talk about that one more time. What a feat of balance. Wow. My goodness. To stay up and stay in bounds, wow. 3 points, though, for Hollyhood. 1 point for Cherry Kiss on the back end.
Look at
Goodness
that,
me.
Kiss.
Look at that.
Gypsy Danger out there on the jammer line for the Beauties.
And Lightning the Queen for the Runaway Brides.
Gypsy Danger tries the high side, kicks straight along, gets out, but Cherry Kiss is the jammer right in front of them.
There's Gypsy managing to stay upright as well, kind of balanced on one skate and willed it down and stayed upright. So Gypsy's going to put the pressure on and try to keep this at one scoring pass for Lightning. Oh, big collision, and Lightning the Queen took the brunt of that. Called it off from her back as Gypsy Danger was barreling in, and Lightning gets a point. Look at that. When Lightning was getting knocked over, at some point her hips were in front of the blockers. There we go. So we have Muerta at the jammer line.
NC Jammer coming to the jammer line for the Beauties.
Muerta's number is peeling off, so she's now 13 and a half. She's not 131. That happens when you have skaters subbing for other teams, as we've been doing all home season long.
NC pushing to the front of the pack. People keep recycling in front of them.
Yeah, there we go. Right now, there goes Muerta along the inside. Flapping numeral and all. Like the Great Britain team at the World Baseball Championship. NC still trying to shake loose. You got teammates here, actually. The Valkyries just drafted Muerta. NC gets pushed up to the outside. Now trying to get clear. Colette Razorcat trying to clear some space. Whole lot of action here. NC just got blasted. That was, who was that? That was Hollyhood.
Hollyhood coming in to finish the deal on that one.
Definitely everybody still fighting tooth and nail here. Muerta's trying to get through, and that'll do it for that jam. While we wait for the score, I was just going to mention Muerta just graduated from the minor assaults back in January and was drafted by the Valkyries, on whom NC Jammer skates. So that was 2 teammates, both skating for other teams. We have a power jam for the Brutal Beauties. It's going to be Oh Captain, My Captain, Princess Sleia at the jammer line. Beauties have 3 blockers. Brides have 3 blockers. So it's all fair and square.
Still 7.5 minutes left in this bout.
Sleia tries to tap dance around the inside, but Hollyhood is there to close that door. Sleia back up to try once again, and now the pivot comes up to try and create some turbulence. Smoothly moving pack goes right by us here at the announcer's nest. Hi, you just saw me on the live stream. Now here goes Princess Leia on the inside and cannot get by.
Once again knocked to the infield by Lightning the Queen right there. Just a little nudge is all you need. Or a big nudge by Holly Hood.
"15 seconds left on the power jam. And it would appear at this point that, yeah, as Slaya, if Slaya were to get out, probably not going to be able to make it around again. So Slaya
makes an aggressive move around Novocaine to call it off. You can't call off a jam if you're not out of the pack, so.
Yeah, that's about the only time you're going to see Novocaine not blast somebody out of existence when they're trying to pass her, is when it's a wink and a nod and let's call this off.
Let's go back to the bench.
No points on the power jam. The Runaway Brides again with this, again, amazing defensive effort with just 3 blockers out there. But if your blockers are Holly Hood, Novocaine, and Lightning, again, you're going to go far in life. So we have taken an official timeout so the officials can talk about this.
And when you have an aggressive jam like that, you end up picking up a lot of blocker penalties.
Yeah.
Going to sit 2 Beauties on this one and 1 Bride.
Yeah, if this is your first ever derby bout, then yeah, there's a lot of ways you can pick up penalties kind of grinding down there in the trenches. It's a lot like offensive linemen wind up getting things like hand to the face. It's like, well, my hand went in his helmet. I couldn't stop it. So you get a lot of kind of must-do penalties like that when you're blocking in the pack. Back to the action we go.
Back to the action indeed. Here comes Nikki Badass out there for the Brides.
And it's going to be Cherry Kiss for the Beauties. Now there goes Nikki, and here goes Cherry, not quite, and is able to then get around Al as Al's out of play. Nikki's out clear, though. Nikki's going to get up here, gets 1 chance at it. And Nikki got bumped off to the infield, so a good block there. Good, again, that pivot got away from me before I could see who that is. Sorry. Excellent job, Beauties pivot. My eyesight is so bad. And look at that. Wow, we got Lightning the Queen at the jammer line once again for the Brides.
Here comes Gypsy Danger for the Beauties.
And Lightning, with some help from her pivot, is able to dash through in his lead jammer for the Brides.
Gypsy Danger able to stay on the track and get out as Lightning the Queen finishes scoring pass.
And Lightning is going to run some time off the clock here, as the Brides are trying to put the finishing touches on what may be a victory for them. Don't want to speak too soon, of course. So 4 points there for the Brides. 5 minutes left in regulation. Muerta to the jammer line for the Runaway Brides.
Beauties are sending NC Jammer back out there for this next one.
And Muerta down to the inside, finds an opening. Everybody was kind of looking at NC, who had approached the pack very quickly. And Muerta is able to get out for the Brides. NC fighting with Slaughtermelon. And tries to sneak by Al. Al says, "You will not sneak by me." And NC is once again thwarted. Muerta at the back of the pack, trying to find an opening. Pack is making their way down by the far bench. The Beauties taking advantage from the bench by shouting out instructions. NC out the front of the pack now. Muerta gets through to finish off that scoring pass and is going to call it off. So 3.5 minutes to go in regulation. Brides 4 more points on the board. And it once again is going to be Lightning the Queen for the brides. Well, it's a captain on captain jam, as a matter of fact. It's Lightning for the brides and Slaya for the beauties. And Lightning is the first one through, finds an opening past those front blockers.
Princess Leia emerges, half a track behind Lightning.
Three more points for the brides. We're under 3 minutes to go in regulation, once again. Starting roughly from Tollison is Holly Hood for the brides and Cherry Kiss for the beauties. You may notice a resemblance in their stance. They are, in fact, aunt and niece, if you're not aware of that. Cherry able to get to the front quickly and gets that pivot out of play. So Cherry's out for the beauties. There goes Holly Hood for the brides. And Cherry calls it off after finishing the scoring pass. Puts up your standard 4. Looks like we're going to have a timeout. It's a team timeout. Brides. Runaway brides are going to call a team timeout here. So we've got 1:48 to go. 2 or 3 more jams in regulation. We will see how that goes. Right now your score is 129-68.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Skatewell. Skatewell is a social support community for skaters and refs to help raise mental health awareness and provide resources for those in need. Our mission is to assist others to be well on wheels. Visit them in Vendor Row next to our merch booth. Skatewell.
Hey fans here in attendance, unfortunately if you're home you can't have any of this. So that is one downside about Twitch, is when we have a really good food truck, you just have to eat SpaghettiOs. Tonight, the food truck is Green Chili Love, and let me tell you, we got a fan that sits here by this open door by the announcer nest, and when this food smells that good, man, it's hard. It smells, you'll be sitting here announcing it. I'm like, anyway, at the jammer, oh boy. The green chili pork, which is fantastic from what I hear. I don't eat on bout nights because then I'll hiccup the entire bout. Anyway, green chili pork, they have grilled carne asada, they've got vegetarian options as well, served atop nachos and quesadillas, and also served in bowls and burritos. So again, Green Chili Love is outside, and you're about to be able to have a great chance to get yourself some dinner.
They got a special green chili smothered cheeseburger tonight, too.
Oh, yeah, the burgers, too. Anyhow, it's a power jam for the beauties once we get back to the action here.
Gypsy Danger out there going to skate this power jam. Tied up behind a solid 3-wall right there. Brides coming out of the box.
Yeah, so the brides started up, and all 4 of them had linked arms. And so now the beauties are trying to get that gold pendant at the back. That's Lightning the Queen trying to fight through.
Ash Smashum, Novocaine, and Alan I'll Hate Ya trying to hold this jammer in.
And Ash with the block, but Ash out of play, so Gypsy gets the wave on. 23 seconds to go here in the Beauties Power Jam, and the Beauties are going to try to keep Lightning pinned in at the back of the pack.
Beauties trying to open the door for their jammer, but not let Lightning through.
So they had Lightning at the back of the pack, and then Lightning just single-handedly defense Gypsy down to the infield while pinned in behind the Beauties blockers. So, again, that's Lightning the Queen with the defense. And that's going to do it. The jam clock expires. Gypsy gets 4 of the 5 points, so very efficient way to get in there and pick up a couple of those. Looks like, though, Gypsy is going to be asked to report to the penalty bench. That is indeed the case. So, this will be the last jam of regulation, because this one should probably go, well, it'll go till Holly Hood calls it off. At any rate, Holly Hood on the jammer line now for the last jam of regulation for the Runaway Brides. I see Astrothought out there. Astrothought being asked to skate defense in the last jam of the bout, so that's cool for a rookie. Holly Hood now. Oh, also Astro Thought's playing on their Power O, so here, how about that for a rookie? Meanwhile, here comes Hollywood. Quarter clock has expired. Hollywood's just going to kind of drift up through here. Gets on past that front row of blockers. And calls it off with the quarter clock having expired. We'll check on that score there. They're already up to us. It's 5 points for the Brides. We're going to check now the penalty situation. But I'm going to say in about, let's see, we're going to know a lot about the playoffs here momentarily.
I'm hearing names being called for penalties, but I'm not seeing any Brides skating
there
to
we
the
are.
bench. So that's
With that final whistle, with the final score of 134-72, the Runaway Brides are victorious. Runaway Brides have locked up the #1 seed in the playoffs and will begin the defense, the 3-year delayed defense of their home tournament crown at our next bout. Brutal Beauties are going to come out and follow them around as well. The Brutal Beauties have locked up the 2 seed in the playoffs. This is the Brutal Beauties' highest seeding in the last 6 years, and that's only because that's as far back as my knowledge of the stats go. Brutal Beauties are going to go into the playoffs ranked 2nd. And hypothetically, if both of these teams win in the semifinals, you have just watched a possible preview of the championship bout, but we'll have to see. So once again, the playoff bracket's now set. It'll be the Brides versus the Doomsday Valkyries and the Brutal Beauties versus the Schoolyard Scrappers, who are just about, you see a lot of sky blue making their way onto the track. Schoolyard Scrappers have one more regular season bout against the Bombshell